we'll get into some of the early sculptures here, and also the moon landing looking outfit.
Yeah, that's aluminized leather.
Gotcha.
So that's full foundry gear. That is meant for pouring metal. Those are splash shields. So there's a little leather helmet that goes over your actual helmet. You got the gloves, you got the jacket, you got the lance, and you got the legs, and you got the spats, which are the foot pieces, which will go over your boot and stuff like that. That way you're not getting any molten metal and anything that doesn't need to be in there. Yeah. You want to be dancing around with a hot foot, trust me.
And I'm assuming these are some of your early sculpture pieces. I don't know, do you want to walk us through either of these? Or?
Yeah, the one on the left was, I was probably in a little darker place because I had just moved to Atlanta to finish out my sculpture and animation degree because they were shutting down the sculpture department in Savannah, Georgia. And, everyone that I had known, because it was the end of the 4 years, so I was moving into my 5th year, everyone that I had known was gone.
Gotcha.
It was me in Atlanta having to make new friends, but Atlanta's social scene wasn't as open and freeing as Savannah's was. I was around artists all the time when I was living in Savannah. But when I moved to Atlanta, Atlanta's huge.
Yeah.
And SCAD, still a satellite campus in Atlanta. Everything was so separated. And everyone felt more conservative about what people thought of it. I started making friends, but then at the same time, I would lose those friends because they'd think I was too wild. I wasn't focused enough, or I didn't have to share the same ideals as them. But all I wanted to do was, find a good people to go grab a drink with, maybe go dancing or something at a party, and that was not their vibe. That was that was a rough time. So this piece right there was kind of like me pressing against the darkness, the suffocation of being confined into these tall structured concrete gravestones that felt like almost as people stacked on top of each other. Felt so compressed. Everyone there was so concerned with their image. They never really took the time to learn who they were, and it was sad to be around almost. But yeah, it was like me trying to press back out of the darkness and get a glimpse of the light again.
Yeah.
And eventually, I worked my way out of that feeling, but I would never live in a big city like that ever.
Yeah, gotcha. And this middle piece is interesting too. So did you make both of these hands? And wow. So you must have studied anatomy.
Yeah.
As well during college.
Yeah, they make you take life drawing, and I went all the way up to life drawing 3, and which I think was the max. There may have been a 4. I don't really know. I don't remember. But I had these giant textbooks that weren't even required for my class that were muscle structures, old surgical books for the human anatomy on how to operate for certain things. But it had the skin peeled back. You'd see how the muscles were connected with each other and which ones would direct what part of the body and how they would open up to get to those areas. And there'd just be like little brief descriptions of what the tools were doing and whatnot, but I wasn't really there for that. They could really see and get a good feel for what you were sculpting from. Because even though you're sculpting the outside of something when you are making it, you really got to understand what's underneath it to make the right shapes to get the overall image.
For sure. And, you know, what does this piece mean to you? What did it symbolize at the time?
Humanity and the bond of technology coming together for a more idealistic approach to making the world better. It's using technology for the betterment of mankind, essentially.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of, you know, Michelangelo, you know, the god.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was based off of.
Gotcha. I got you. Yeah, and it's got the flower coming from it, the beauty, the essence.
For life and true life. And like, you know, you make something out of metal like that, so rigid, and there's always a connection. You know, just because we make something out of such a rough and hard material doesn't mean it doesn't have its connection to nature.
Yeah.
It has as much connection to nature as we do as humans.
For sure. And, you know, metal literally comes from the earth. You know, I think people forget that sometimes.